Picture this. I was a busy working mom, juggling Zoom calls and changing diapers like a pro. It was like being caught in a whirlwind of cocomelon and baby shark chaos. Then, without warning, life hit me like a monster truck. I experienced a sudden cardiac arrest. My heart stopped. All systems went offline. I was in a coma, hooked up to a ventilator for a solid week. I could not get home to my family. I couldn't get back to work. I couldn't even walk. The me once labeled as an overachiever was no more. Before I could get back to what I considered everyday life, I needed a whole team of medical professionals, 6 doctors, 19 nurses, and 10 physical therapists to be exact, just to help me walk again. Life pressed pause, and it was a long pause button, and I couldn't press play again. During those long, quiet moments in the dimly lit hospital, I really examined my whole life when I was in there. And I really thought about, okay, I'm here, I can't get out. My focus was really on how do I get out of the hospital? And everything flashed before me, my labels, my priorities, you name it. And I knew that I had to change in order to survive. Luckily, you don't need a sudden cardiac arrest to explore your labels. When we think about labels, we should really be thinking about how we define ourselves, more than our roles, more than our responsibilities, more than the things that other people put on us. And the reason why these labels are never neutral is because pretty much they have weight and they carry meaning in a way that maybe we don't always anticipate or expect. When I faced this new label now after leaving the hospital of pretty much having stage 3 congestive heart failure with a reduced ejection fraction, I had to really contend with the fact that maybe this label, after all, isn't so bad after all. I mean, that label in particular is the one that allowed me to get access to the resources and support that I needed in order to manage my condition. Has anyone ever heard of labeling theory? I see a few nods. It's like slapping a big sticker on someone with a label that says failure or overachiever. And once you've got one of those stuck on you, it can totally change how you see yourself and how others see you too. The interesting thing about this exploration of these new labels that I had, this new label of heart failure, was that I had to contend with my old label of overachiever. And the limits of that old label left me wondering, is there a relationship here between the two? What labels are you stuck with? What do your family, your job, or even the medical system slap onto you? Think about that for a moment. Every label comes with both good and bad. Instead of accepting labels at face value, what if we did something different? What if I invite you to join me on this journey of what I'm calling radical interrogation, where it's a process of asking these questions where you really examine who you are, what the labels you want, and what labels maybe you want to get rid of. Maybe you want to put some of them back. Maybe you want to try some new ones on. And that's for us to examine, right? So are you ready to join me in this journey of radical interrogation? Yeah. Thank you. So first, we ask ourselves, what are the labels I identify with? Think about that for a second. You already have some labels. And then you want to dig deep and say, is it something I really want to have? Or is it, where is it coming from? And I think we really need to be asking ourselves, what do I identify with and where are these labels coming from? Next, we really want to think about how labels impact us and those around us. So we're going to ask, in what ways do these labels work for me? In what ways do they not work for me? Because sometimes they don't. And finally, we can flip it and reverse it and start thinking outside the box. Question, how much of these labels do I want to keep? Which ones do I want to keep on? And which ones do I want to put down and kind of let go, or maybe step away from? Believe me, this process is not easy. I think everybody in this room, we could do it kind of right now and start asking ourselves, what are some of these things we want to put on? What are some that we want to leave back? Labels are always an opportunity to explore and learn more about who we are. When I think about labels in relationship to unity, you know, I told you in the beginning that I needed a whole team of about 40-something people to help me get out of the hospital. Look around the room. Think about every person in here. Think about your label that you want in relationship to the person sitting next to you. Look at them. Think about that label, the person sitting next to you, and then out in the social world. We have a lot to share with what we want to choose, how we want to put these labels on. Unity isn't about becoming uniform. It's about embracing our unique differences as the foundation of our collective strength. Pretty much, radical interrogation paves the path to unity. And I really think that what gets in the way are these labels that we don't question, these assumptions that we make about what labels might mean. In the world that we live in, we really want to use radical interrogation as a strategy to help us connect with one another and realize that in the future, unity is going to become paramount in our social world. Thank you.